Right, listen up. 12-hour shifts. Now, some beige, sandal-wearing, tofu-eating civil servant in Whitehall will tell you this is the future. This is progress. This is flexibility. Modern working practices for a modern Britain. Absolute steaming bollocks. Since around 2020, millions of decent, hard-working people across this country and tens of millions more in Europe and America have been slowly fed into this ridiculous new machine. The NHS, Amazon, Royal Mail, warehouses the size of Belgium, you name it. Places that ran perfectly well on proper 8-hour days have decided the British workers' natural rhythm should now be more like a Victorian stoker shoveling coal into the bowels of a steamship. The official excuse, of course, is COVID, the gift that keeps on giving for every terrible idea known to man. Oh, we had staffing shortages. We needed flexibility, continuity of care, darling. They reduced the handovers and called it a win for patients. What a load of old rubbish. Even after the virus had buggered off to wherever viruses go, they kept the 12-hour shifts and started rolling them out like it was going out of fashion. Why? They explained that most of the pressure on the NHS has been caused by a huge increase in UK population size of many millions since 2015 due to totally uncontrolled mass immigration into this tiny island. So the increase in need has been caused by actual government policy, bringing in an extra 4 to 5 million people who don't even speak English as their first language, requiring millions of extra houses to be built, hospital beds, new roads and schools. This all requires additional workers which have to be imported, which fuels the need for further houses, schools and hospitals, which fuels the need for additional imported workers in a never-ending cycle. To use the globalist phrase, it is very much a race to the bottom, because this tiny little island has been absolutely rammed with millions of extra people. Instead of admitting the bleeding obvious, they dress it up in management consultant guff about employer flexibility. Flexibility, my arse. Let me translate what that actually means in proper English. The employers get more hours out of you. In a working week, they are giving you fewer paid breaks. And then they have the sheer brass neck to call it progress. You used to get a proper breather on an 8-hour shift, but now you get the same time to cover 12 hours. That's 4 hours longer for the same break time. Over a 24-hour period, they've nicked an hour of your breaks, and nobody told you. I've done long days. You know what happens after 10 hours. You're not in the zone. You're a drooling wreck operating on autopilot. Your brain's gone on holiday. Your reactions are slower than a reliant robin with a flat tire. And if you're a nurse with someone's life in your hands, or a driver returning home from a long shift, thundering down the M1, that's not just annoying, that's properly dangerous. And don't make me laugh with that drivel about workers demanding longer shifts. The only people who enjoy 12-hour days are the ones built like Romanian weightlifters, who want 4 days on and the rest of the week off to go to the gym and intimidate small children. Most normal people, especially anyone over 40 with a dodgy knee or a family, hate it with a passion. Chronic fatigue, burnout, wrecked sleep, more mistakes, more accidents, more sick days. It's all there in the studies, but nobody wants to talk about it. But this wasn't some happy accident for the employers. This was deliberate policy. Governments and giant corporations all singing from the same hymn sheet after the pandemic. Build back better, they said. What they actually meant was build back cheaper. Or screw the workers, squeeze every last drop out of the existing workforce while importing millions more to keep the whole miserable Ponzi scheme spinning round. The result? Traditional British working conditions, fought for over 100 years, tossed in the bin like an old crisp packet. More profit for the multinationals, knackered bodies for the staff, and the poor taxpayer left holding the bill for all the extra disability payments and NHS treatment. Brilliant. So next time some fresh-faced MP or some HR drone with a clipboard starts lecturing you about the joys of flexible working, just remember they're not doing this for you. It's so simple, even Hamster could understand it. Explain it to the masses one more time, Hammond.
So, a person working a 40-hour week, 8-hour shift would normally receive 5 hours of paid breaks during the week. However, if they chose to work 12-hour shifts, for example a 36-hour week over 3 days instead, they would only receive 3 hours of breaks per week. If they increased their hours and worked 4 12-hour shifts amounting to 48 hours, they would still only receive 4 hours out of 48 as breaks. Whereas working an 8-hour shift pattern over 6 days, they would receive 6 hours out of 48 as breaks. So they're now working 44 hours out of 48 instead of 42 out of 48. That's 8 hours less breaks per month, 96 hours less breaks per year, which is the equivalent of working 2 extra weeks per year for the same pay. And yet they would be much more fatigued by the 12-hour shifts, and therefore would actually have a greater need of breaks. The whole thing is crazy. But that's what happened.
So they're doing it to screw an extra working hour out of every 24. Before, they got 21 working hours and gave 3 hours paid breaks. Now they get 22 hours work and only pay 2 hours paid breaks. It's as simple as that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work this out. It's plain thievery. It's the biggest heist in the world. The government and corporations are exploiting British workers like never before and reversing gains in the workplace which date back more than 100 years and at least 4 generations. It's also cheaper than employing enough people to do the job properly. It's a win-win for the employers, and it makes their graphs go up and their spreadsheets turn green. 12-hour shifts, a stupid, miserable, soul-crushing idea, badly executed and sold to you with a straight face by people who've never done a proper day's graft in their lives. Absolutely pathetic. They can truly fuck off. And when they've fucked off, they can fuck off again. Right, you lot, if you've somehow managed to enjoy this colossal waste of pixels, then for the love of all that is holy, do us both a favour and smash that like button and subscribe. There. I've said it. Now bugger off.